afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast with me, your host, ImperialDane. We're off here to an exciting 1 versus 1 on Simoski. Yes, indeed, Simoski. In the northern half, we shall be watching Braveheart here fighting for Germany, for the Reich, leading a Kampfgruppe from the 7th Panzerdivision straight towards Soviet lines here against the Soviet 11th Tank Corps here fighting along, and the command of ImperialDane with the reserve army, urban defense and tank hunter tactics. Points immediately being secured here, going straight here, in fact ignoring the fuel point right off the bat. There they go, folks, because they're arriving here. What kind of doctrines does he possess? In fact, he's gone straight off here for breakthrough. Breakthrough, ladies and gentlemen. We're pulling back here, conscripts on the way, spreading out. Heading a bit westwards here. No sign of a Kugelwagen yet, for example, here from Braveheart, which is quite popular from the Oberkommando West here on Simoski. But nothing so far, nothing. Third conscript squad, they're arriving. Troops heading southwards. Center being secured here by the Sturmpioniere, Volkskongress here, and we are noting a second Volkskongress squad there for Braveheart. Kein Kugelwagen. Bit of sandbag pushing up just in case he decides to rush the point, at least have something to sort of try and hold the point here with, and defend with, spreading out the troops at the same time though. Spreading out, going to make it difficult to examine so a Kugelwagen to pin down as many of our troops as possible, which is rather what you want to avoid. Troops heading west, and noting here that Braveheart's also sending a larger detachment towards the west as well, and they're going counting in the Sturmpioniere. A few shots going off here, doing a lighter bit of damage, but they're secured. All a bit quiet otherwise. The Sturmpioneers are pursuing down here, might in fact make a straight move for the fuel point. I've already got more Volkskongress on the way. In fact, I'm sending here because I'm very much expecting him to go for that. And there you go. In the end, the Kugelwagen does arrive to support the Truppen at the front line. And there you go, another engagement of Volkskongress engaged by conscripts, quickly rushing in there, but we've got more Volkskongress arriving from the other side, engaging here the conscripts, catching them in a crossfire. Not looking good, and there we go, making a straight move there for the fuel point. Conscripts and comets will have to counter-attack. Conscripts they've forced away. Heavy damage already inflicted there without doing too much there due to the presence of the extra squad, quickly increasing the damage done. And there we go, we actually see breakthrough tactics enacted. A very rare use of the ability. But there we go, quickly increases this amount of time. Well, decreases the time it takes to sort of decap a point, and there you go. In, well, a few seconds, he's all managed to render this point neutral. Cutting him off there. At the same time again here, though this time less fast. I mean, it doesn't help you take the point fast for that. You want counter-attack tactics from the German mobile defense doctrine. There goes Sturm, has been forced away, though. Very low on health, and he seems to be not conducting a full retreat. I'm wondering what Braveheart they're seeing. At the same time, conscripts hold up here in the church under fire from the Kugelwagen. Minor engagement between Volkskongress and conscripts. Quick run here, trying to catch down those Sturmpioniere. Troops here reinforcing. There you go, almost got the entire Sturmpioneer unit. Down to one man. Hans. And, oh shit, I think he was trying to retreat there, but in the end did not. So I'm not entirely sure what went wrong. By the way, the Sturmpioneer squad was quickly wiped out there. Breakthrough tactics has worn off as well here. The counter-attack here, drawing in a lot of Volkskongress from otherwise being able to sort of render a lot more of my territory neutral. We are losing supplies to the enemy. And we're noting an early mechanized training headquarters. We're actually seeing a Sturmofficer being used as well. My god, he's using the Sturmofficer. Now that's rare as well. A lot of players who tend to go for breakthrough tend to just use it for the Panzerfusiliers and then ignore everything else. So this is quite interesting to see. But a bit short there on a very valuable unit early on. Kugelwagen is have to cover the right flank there from any further advances. Troops countering up here. Only one Volkskongress squad left, and it is low on health, so Braveheart there needs to be a bit careful. Troops are getting suppressed by the Kugelwagen, trying to get beyond the arc of fire there. And they just don't make it in time. But some aggressive harassment tactics. There we go. Again, we're seeing breakthrough tactics. I mean, he's very aggressive there when it comes to harassing and cutting off a lot of territory. I mean, it's rarely seen something like that. Very rarely seen. That's actually interesting to see. Because you can actually do a lot of economical damage by that by simply, cutting me off from a lot of my territory rapidly. And also having to make me then in short waste time and just having to take it back all the way. Even if just there for a few seconds, he can just quickly render large swaths of my territory, well, useless. Right here, though, he decided to follow up in the building. It's not really good building for infantry. And actually make things easy for me right here in the end. He did retreat. He also failed to take the back. Oh, wait, there's not actually a back door on this thing. Never mind then. But either way, not a really good move there, resulting in another squad wipe there. Heavy losses early on. Setting up Kubang here to guard the fuel point. It would seem we might have plans there further on. Territory rapidly shifting hands. So there we go. We got a flak half-track out here. The 251-17. Achtung. Deutschland. Securing the centre here, though. Immediately choice here of the army with irregular light machine gun units arriving. Militia troops, which also did see some fighting here and there, quickly put together from whatever was available and armed. Constantly encountering the flak half-track, nice position there on the hill. Firing down there upon the conscripts, Volskers then attacking through. Nicely done there, nicely done. Conscripts moving up. Bit of harassment there going for the cut-off as well. Officer moving down south. Kubelwang remaining here. And taking up there with a field gun on the way to try and deal with this flak half-track and the immediate threat it poses. Panzerfusiliers then arriving for Braveheart. So decent mix of infantry and units here for him so far. And some very aggressive harassment tactics. Country then getting pelted again by the flak half-track. And we're noting a second truck here for Braveheart, also noting he's not trading resources. He is not trading resources, interestingly enough. Irregulars taking up position inside the small shed.
The sector has been cut off.
And again, cutting off a lot of territory. He might in fact go breakthrough tactics again to increase the speed.
Enemy forces are neutralizing.
And going in for the fuel pod as well, noting also a tank of attack command going up. They're rushing for armor to sort of try and help deal with this. A T-70 that he's rushed for could in fact end up doing a lot of damage the way he's currently playing. Noting there a second Panzerfusilier unit. And of course, I mean, while he's certainly also doing a lot of economic damage, he's basically also slowing down the amount of time it takes for me to get, well, my chance of getting armor quickly out. And of course, in that regard, while he's spending a lot of munitions on it, at the same time, it's less of an issue because, again, tanks will be much, much slower. And there you go. Fuel point cut off. He's got the Kubelwagen covering it. In fact, I've barely got any map control at the moment. And also the flak half-track here sitting in a very nasty position. Though it's not impervious. I mean, right here, of course, I used the squad to basically lure out where it's positioned and then so basically try to hit with a field gun. And the field gun is not really responsive when using attack ground, which allows it to get away, well, quite handily. Still, nonetheless, it is forced to pull back here. Opening up things a bit around here. Truck moving up. There you go, Kubelwagen. Holding up their officer rush away. Also knowing the officer was killed, which caused a full retreat there from the unit. Nice, it got the Lieutenant! But there you go, Panzerfusiliers counter-attacking. Good job there again of sort of very aggressive harassment strategy being enacted here by Braveheart, and is allowing him to sort of maintain a very large swath of territory. Quite impressively enough, and also just constantly harass me and quickly cut off territory. The second field gun on the way. Not going to take any chances with this. As we have noted, this is a very mobile play. He does not resort to just brute force assaults. He's very much on maneuver, quickly sneaking about, using breakthrough tactics to tear apart large amounts of territory, at least vital points. And he's also not the type to sort of get caught up in engagement he can't win, it would seem. Second field gun arriving. But not exactly looking good at the moment. Not looking good. Got the regulars moving up to support. Submachine guns being handed out here, increasing the amount of fire being laid down there on the Panzerfusiliers. Constantly attacking them here. Field gun almost again. Just a bit of trees there basically blocking its line of fire. Nicely positioned here, by the way, by Braveheart then. Very nicely position. In fact, forced me to shift my field gun. Panzer here could almost get wiped out. Almost! At the same time, Panzer unit are counter-attacking. Need to cover the field gun there. He's still got the Kuhlwagen. I might have expected to pull it further back there. Not looking good. Barely any fuel here. In fact, he's getting a ton more due again to his sort of massive map control. He's very dominating, almost strangulating. And there you go. Pulls this force away. Finally, offing over here to Braveheart. Squad lost down there. Wasn't quite paying attention. Looks like the field gunner might get it. And there you go. Another Volkswagen squad down. In fact, he's got no more Volkswagen squads left at all. He's down to just 4 Panzer Fusiliers, though, of course. He does get a lot of sort of, you know, fun out of them, if you will, with their 6-man forces there. So a rather large Panzer Fusilier unit here for Braveheart. Quite a bit of potency that way, and of course, more importantly for him, a lot more survivability again due to 6-man, which also makes him rather unique amongst the Axis besides Osttruppen. So quickly trying to recapture territory, secure points. At this point, actually, he's a bit vulnerable. He's got nothing to sort of deal with any sort of armor rush. Again, though, I mean, he's done a lot to sort of try and deny it, hold it back. Again, good, and he keeps it up. He just keeps it up impressively enough. It's, of course, not all hunky-dory. And again, you'd imagine he'd sort of try to transfer up, but again, he might then, of course, feel he doesn't have munitions to keep up breakthrough tactics, and thus keep up harassing. So in that regard, you know, he's got some hard choices to make. But again, the amount of economic damage he can do because of that is, though, at the same time, clearly something he finds worthwhile and certainly isn't completely useless. In this case, I actually spot him briefly there going in, so again bombarding it, hoping to catch someone, but that doesn't quite work out. Some not so good shots there from the field gun crew. Yuri, shoot after the windows, at least where someone might be, not the bathroom. Minor move down here, Panzer versus conscripts, with the 2nd Panzer unit moving in to support. Quick close quarters engagement here, submachine guns tearing into the Panzer Fusiliers. There you go, Panzer's falling back at the same time, another engagement up here, more conscripts. Some also with submachine guns catching the Panzer Fusiliers out in the open, in fact, near to the car, taking more damage, more conscripts joining in. The irregulars up north could also join in here a bit. And there we go, conscripts win the engagement here, by the 2nd Panzer unit arrives and quickly takes care of things. Meanwhile up here, things are looking a bit better for the Russians, that is. Less so here for Braveheart's Panzer, is almost getting wiped out there. At the same time, we've got the officer providing a bit of fire support from here. They're also quickly falling back. And there we go again, going for the fuel point. Breakthrough tactics again, and again, a matter of seconds before the point is rendered neutral. Seconds. Orbital down on the way to support some heavier support here. And soon some armor on the way here. From the Russians, from the tank corps. Mine's going up to cover the flank in case he decides to come in. Again, realise he's a very sort of flanking player. Very nice to see. Unless, of course, you're on the receiving end of it, of course, in which case it's certainly a challenge. Another assault here. There you go, quick grenade. And another cut squad there close getting wiped out, if not directly wiped out. Not good there for me, good for him of course. But now a better grasp on the map, mines at different junctures. And the flak half track repaired as well. And there we go, a T-34-76, just in case he gets some armor out, say a looks or anything like that. I don't want to be caught completely off guard. Although, of course, I could have gotten a T-70 out sooner than a T-34-76. That way, you know, struck the infantry harder. Larger assault going in here from the right-hand side. Well, at the same time, we see a smaller advanced push here on the left flank with a flak half-track and some Panzer Fusiliers. And again, note he's sort of making movements on several points. Smaller supported or unsupported here on the flanks, and again the major one up through the centre. I mean, he's making good use, sort of, you know, of attacks from several angles. Cuts holding up things here. Quick shield hand grenade. Conscripts, there we go, more or less dead. Field gun under fire. Oh, well, flat half tank, but there we go. Might get the irregulars right there. Field guns in fact completely exposed. Did not leave any support. Light machine gun dropped. Not good. T-34 rushing in, sort of trying to deal with things here at the same time as I'm trying to cover the field gun's retreat with a maximum rank there to sort of fight something more suppressive towards the infantry. And there you go, Panzer is almost getting that field gun. In fact, they might just, there we go. Anti-tank rifle grenade going off there on the T-34. Almost run up, but the counter of course can quickly repair it thanks to, well, the reserve army ability counter repair kits, which quickly makes that a non-issue. In fact, with the very little damage the anti-tank rifle grenades can actually do. So that's something that even the conscripts can swiftly fix, meaning he's largely just wasted munitions on that, and that's 25 munitions. Orbs on the linear counter again, he's just constantly keeping up pressure on the fuel point. T-34 linear here versus the orbital officer. And we got the light machine gun here on the Panzer Fusiliers, increasing their lethality. And there we go, one hell of a shot there, wiping up more than half the unit in one spectacular shot. But Kenmev is on the way here, so again, you know, thanks to all the munitions spent out, he has to rely on Kenmev as anti-tank. He certainly has to be maybe careful around now that he's sort of seen what I can do with the T-34-76. And again, the amount of conscripts have also ensured I can quickly get it repaired in case it does pop off an anti-tank rifle grenade. So it's not exactly a measure that can buy him a lot of time, which is also important to keep in mind. And there you go, in fact I'm attacking from here sort of so I can hit the orbital gun from that angle, also try and get them on retreat. And the orbital gun are in a dire situation. There you go, half the unit wiped out already here for Braveheart and the 7th Panzer Division. Got to retreat the T-34 here. So I'll reverse it to sort of keep up with the orbital gun. In fact, I made a mistake there. Flak half-track using here, nicely done, by the way. Ensuring I can't hit it easily with the field gun, sticking to the periphery of the village northern. And there you go, orbital down to one man, but he makes it away. He makes it away though with heavy casualties. Kenmev for supporting a northern push, and we got a large part of Panzer here, so he's getting ready for some kind of large western swing here. Interesting, interesting. And we got T-70 joining in the fight, that way adding some pressure to the infantry a bit more solidly, something that could quickly hunt it down, also do a lot more damage to the infantry units. In that regard, quite potent, and certainly now they have a T-34 and some field guns, I feel a bit more sort of secure versus whatever else he might send in. But again, he's keeping up that very insistent pressure towards the fuel point. Again, it's very clearly part of his strategy, and it's a very interesting thing. I mean, it's actually great to see someone use breakthrough for more than just the Panzer Fusiliers and maybe a Jagdjäger.
Stand ready. Crew, stand ready.
So again, very novel use of it. Very novel. And probably also the intended, which makes it even a bit more sad, actually. Again, they're coming in 5 Panzer attacking here. Again, we see breakthrough tactics immediately used. Again, quickly clearing out the points. T-34 trying to deal with Kenmev. Good shot there. Almost got the unit, almost. Conscript attacking. We do see also a rapid conscription. T-34 taking the damage here. And I decide actually, for some reason here, that I rather want to get the Kenmev out of here. And that's probably because I've realised he can just quickly crew it with an and if he can get the flak half-track down, I could probably do some more serious damage in the longer run. So there we go. T does get destroyed. But in the end, I got the flak half-track. Equal trait, not really, but the T-34 done plenty of damage before that. So not all wasted there. We got the T-70 joining in here. And now things are a lot more open due to, well, the fact that Kenmev has just pulled back. Infantry, they're taking heavy damage as they're getting hunted down. T-70, the tiny tank of terror, striking fear into the heart of the fascists. Or at least wants to. Units heavily depleted. Can't pursue too farther because again there's the Schwerer Panzer headquarters there. Still doing a decent amount of damage here, doing some kills. There we go. But again, harassment towards the south. Again, if he's not striking, he's striking somewhere else. Some very fluid and aggressive infantry tactics. It's infiltration level stuff here. Definitely some very nice stuff there. Definitely something commendable. Certainly something a bit more interesting. Though of course also frustrating for an opponent. But right here again, it does also now actually contain some larger risks because again, now with T-70's other tanks out, I can sort of more harshly punish him, which I previously couldn't with just infantry. So in that regard, his strategy is beginning to encounter some issues, although there is now something to sort of deal with that, and that's the Panther Panzerkampfwagen. Again, he's not treated for fuel at all. Very interesting. Very interesting. In fact, he's just lost a Panzerfusilier unit. So there are some losses there. But time for the mid-game analysis. Counter chasing, damage-wise, kills-wise, extremely close actually. With damage, kill-wise, slight advantage to him, but the T-70, for example, and other measures is only keeping things a bit closer and a bit more equal. Otherwise, I mean, he's been doing a lot of economic damage. He's basically been able to sort of slow down the amount of armor I get because, again, he's been constantly hitting the fuel unrelentingly over and over and over again, and that way he's actually been able to sort of negate the otherwise fuel disadvantage that would have been between the CoH and the Oberkommando West. So in that regard, he's actually a very sort of interesting strategic player there, and again, to a large extent he's been able to do it, but again, to a certain point he can't constantly keep it up, and he wasn't able to keep the, well, retreat avenues completely covered, which has resulted in some heavy losses from T-34 and then the T-70. So he's beginning to encounter some issues. Of course, the Panther's going to gap up, but he's also going to have to sort of change his strategy as more units come out and again more armor arrives again. Particularly the T-70 is going to be a huge threat for him. So in that regard, he needs to begin to adapt. He needs to consider more mines to either cover the retreat paths here and there. That of course requires Stuart Pioneers, or more academy offers. He needs something extra, or a Puma for that matter, to sort of just cover the harassment missions. That way, you know, some infantry moves up, the Puma keeps it covered all the way, in case there's a tank that tries to sort of rush up and pick off the retreating men. But again, that's really sort of the weak point here, beyond an otherwise very aggressive. Again, that's the retreat, that's when they have to get out of there, because very much he's overextending constantly. And while he's doing it sort of, you know, at several points at the same time, making it very hard for me to sort of react, which is quite well. I mean, again, if I just decide to extract down on one at a time, I can also do a lot of damage. And that's rather what's happening. So in that regard, he needs to change his strategy now. He needs to adapt. He needs to sort of change to a sort of different play style if possible. Which is going to be a bit tricky, definitely. So that's something to consider at the very least. As for me, you know, I need to get more armor. I also need to consider getting up some fuel caches. I also need to sort of better protect the fuel point here. I mean, he's constantly just striking towards it, something that could be considered active barbed wire around here. And here, though, of course, that will also ensure I can't move over there. So, I mean, it would have its advantages, it would have its disadvantages. But it would certainly be one of sort of the better measures. But otherwise, fuel caches up to sort of help try overcome that constant fuel disadvantage he's imposing on me through breakthrough tactics and some very aggressive infantry tactics. Could probably also help a bit. I need to get more T-34s. He's getting a Panther. I mean, eventually, you know, you have to expect that. Either that or Yakti, but by that point, I'd probably be winning. If he really is insisting on that. I've also got several field guns, so again, I'm worried about the armor again. I know that he's been imposing me such a field advantage because he's going to hit me with armor. So again, I've been getting several field guns to sort of try and minimize the effect of that once it hits. I mean, in that regard, I've been sort of trying to think ahead. More infantry, though, would also be good. I'm down to 3 squads, so 4 squad would be good. Again, partly, you know, to have some proper infantry presence, but also, so I can also easily have something to repair my tanks. More mines, of course, would also be good to sort of try and make it difficult for him to flank around and then again minimize his movement. But back to the fight here. T-70 hitting this route I ordered there. I should have taken here because again I could hit them on the retreat path. That way, you know, catching there and also be able to sort of, you know, well, at least have a higher chance of actually wiping out the units there on the go. But either way, the Panzer was here with the officer nearby and selected his machine gewehr. Line making a nice assault up north, and there we go. Panzerkampfwagen 5. Panzer. T-70 striking here. Quite a potent bit of infantry actually gathered here, in particular the light machine gun on the Panzer chasing the Austrian officer. There you go, T-70 striking in. Getting us some very good hits there. There you go, the entire unit forced to retreat. And there you go, the Panzer unit almost wiped out. Down to one man. Run, Jürgen, run. But there we go. The big surprise, the Panther has arrived. Gets off a good hurt there on the T-70. Trying to get behind the building, but not fast enough. And Russische Panzer kaputt. And the light machine gun dropped again. But there you go, another unit wiped out there. Veteran Panzer unit, by the way, going to hurt Braveheart a bit there. Apparently someone sent Dieter there flying. Bit attempt there barraging the Obersoldaten, point there being secured. Fuel again being recaptured. More conscripts wait a second match to do with the infantry. Another Panzer Fusilier unit out. He could consider some more orbital line sort of augment things, but certainly probably have a bit more than just calling in fresh Panzer Fusiliers all the time. At least that would be my opinion on the matter. Fuel there secured again. And some mines laid down this time to at least sort of do some more damage. Let's hold up north here. And there you go. I mean, he's quickly shifting around. I mean, he's very fluid. He's very mobile. He's not the guy to just sort of try and hammer in a problem. He's going to try and attack it from several points, and he's just going to sort of try and keep it fluid. Try to do as much damage, then pull back if things aren't going his way. Again, a very interesting strategic approach, and certainly also quite different from what a lot of otherwise Soviet Commanders players do, which tend to be a very much mallard approach, using raw infantry firepower, which is a bit too common. But there you go, nice counterattack here north. Another country squad wiped out. The casualties are piling up. Another T-34 there available. And an MG-42 back in Soviet care. Look, Dimitri, what I found! Ooh, lucky you. Less lucky Fritz was about to get hit by it. And again, he's pulling back the Panther. He's not sort of the type just being content in one spot. Though, of course, at the same time, he sort of have to consider sitting down some point as well, eventually. But again, shifting axis of attack, leaving some units here, but then shifting away to attack elsewhere. And also making it very difficult for me to sort of try and prepare a defense, making me constantly guess and second guess. Where is he going to attack next? Is he going to attack from here? Or is he going to attack from here or here? Or where is it? So some very aggressive play there. Very interesting. And again, then preparing for a large assault up here. Panzer Fusiliers. Officer. In fact, looks like he's sending in most of his Panzer Fusiliers. And leaving behind the orbital down here in a small building to cover the left flank. Panther advancing. T-34 rolling out. And noting here, by the way, spreading out for sort of wider assault, because I have no idea what he's keeping up. He's being able to attack from sort of several points, going to make it harder for the assault to be pinned down, by the way. And there you go, realizing this orbital. And he's going for breakthrough. He's constantly going for breakthrough. Impressive work. I mean, even for some players who aren't so used to it originally, they might just use it as a gimmick and then stop using it. But here, it's consistently a part of his, you know, work plans. Splendid stuff. Coming out the T-34 to realise he's actually left things open here. There you go. Panther driving straight through, taking hit there from the field gun. But quickly it's passed. Orbital down there, beginning to take losses to the T-34 getting out of the building. And looks like they will escape the wrath of the Soviet peoples. So again, very constant infantry aggression there. He could consider, for example, adding in a Puma to sort of further support things and then cover his retreats. And of course, he could also go for something else entirely. A Sturm Tiger would also be a good option for sort of just basically bashing in my field gun precision, for example, here, you know. A good shot with the Sturm Tiger could absolutely devastate me. In fact, at this point, I was actually increasingly worried about the chance of a Sturm Tiger, since the way I was sort of set up, I was not prepared for the Sturm Tiger. In fact, one moment of inattention could cost me some heavy casualties very quickly. And again, constantly shifting up, constantly maneuvering about, also making use of the Panther's greater assets. I mean, a lot of players just seem to think of the armor and the gun, but the speed and its mobility is actually also vital to the Panther. And again, fuel cache. In this case, the mines did a bit more damage. Fuel cache going up there. Panther rolling past here. There we go, taking a hit from the field gun. And sneaking up here through the cemetery. Schnellheinz, or do you want to join the dead here? Oh, scheiße, fun. And there you go, forced away by the Maxim, ever vigilant. Panther force away there, fine for a bit of repairs. Battle group headquarters is going up now, probably to heal his troops, I suppose. And another T-70 on the way again, sort of try and strike the infantry. Having realised again the way he's sort of playing a T-70 could still be quite effective. Because again, he's not doing necessarily much to cover his infantry, small harassment moves from such an event. And again, the Puma though could help. The Puma would actually help expediently and could also then deal sort of course with the armor and provide a bit of pressure versus the infantry. But again, no, by the way, I'm sort of sending my defence around here, covering in the central victory point and also a bit around here, though it's not quite fully within it. It's more the area here that's sort of covered by my sort of Schwerpunkt, if you will, the sort of main effort point. Got a second T-70 that arriving, heading south. In this case, I'm actually covering up the retreat point. I'd rather have an idea what's down there, and I just sort of want to wipe it out. Do you hear something? Niet. And there you go, charging straight into the conscripts. T-70 rolling ahead. Looks like they might make it out of there. And there again, a larger assault going down here, and he's pushing in everything else he's got, at least the toughest he's got. Oh, he's even getting some Volksgrenadiers now all of a sudden. And there you go, Panther opens up the T-70, but this time it's closer to the building track to be able to get around it and behind it. So another larger effort here from Braveheart. He is on the warpath. Getting anti-tank grenades, sort of trying to ambush and get it. And also shifting over field gun to cover things here in case he's trying to push up with the Panther there again. Now engaging up here between conscripts and Volksgrenadiers. And he's getting a bit blobby here, a bit blobby. Needs to be careful with that. It seems like he's making a rather big push here from a southern fuel point. Passengers are getting caught. And the casualties inflicted are horrific. The T-70, the infantry, and the Maxim just tearing them apart. Leaving numerous men dead straight in the middle of the crossroads. And there we go. The assault continues. Very cinematic look there. And here I'm actually about to make a bit of a gambit. I'm suspecting him to actually pull away the Panther because that's what he usually does. He sort of reveals it, shoots, and then moves it elsewhere. So I'm very much gambling on the fact he's already pulled back his Panther here. Very much a gamble right here. In this case, it's actually turned out to be correct. Engine damage there. And now, of course, things get really dangerous because I know he has a very good chance of actually striking down the T-70. And, of course, by the looks of it, he's actually rolling back the Panther to deal with it.
Your orders, comrade.
And again, making a smaller push towards the left again, but I mean, he's to a certain extent adapted his strategies, but again, he's lacking something to sort of cover the infantry on its moves.
The enemy is taking what we have secured.
It also seems like he's gone for something. But the question is, what is it? Quick hoorah there. Maxim covering up the north as well. And tank shifting towards the centre again. And back here to Braveheart. Getting a Stuka zu Fuß. That could also be one way of cracking open the defences here.
Steady yourself.
And they're clearing up the field gun, good job there, but ultimately the Maxim does prevent his assault from going any further.
Half-track has arrived on the battlefield.
And again, Panther shifting about, he's constantly shifting it. Now the Stuka zu Fuß does arrive, and he's going to have some artillery, which I mean, I suppose you could also go on for a light infantry gun, but again, that would rather gone away from his, you know, otherwise mobile and fluid strategy. I mean, the light infantry gun doesn't really fit into that at all.
It's time for action. Ready to execute. Panther, ready for action. No enemy contact. Maintain your discipline.
And the Stukas of Fus actually was generally part of either two units, of either sort of the heavy mortar unit in a Panzer Brigade, or it was actually the Panzer Pioneers Heavy Company. Sort of fun fact that there's actually artillery support for Pioneers.
We are at 200 points.
Largely, I mean, otherwise they'd be sort of frames, sort of independent of the half-tech, sort of organised for rocket artillery units.
Prepare
And there you go, going to about the centre, pretty obvious target. T-70 joining in. Unable to salvage the maximum time. In fact, we see massive damage there done. Field gun and max machine gun there gone down. Another T-34 there, eyeing a 7% large engagement going on here. Conscious will quickly force away due to the sheer presence of the infantry and the orbital dart with several Panzer Fusilier units.
It's time for action.
And right here, too slow in retreating some conscripts. Much too slow. The result will being pretty obvious.
Panther, ready for action.
So quickly conducting some heavy damage there. T-70 is going to need some repairs as well. In this case, they're assaulting to the crew repair. Quickly fixing up the engine damage. Panther moving down south here to strike. Fear enters the hearts of the communists. And right here I'm actually making a bit of a bad mistake. I'm parking my tank straight next to a mine. That's not good. That's bad. We're doing a bit of damage here with the T-70. Interesting enough, he's not... Again, he goes on the field path, if you will. Panther joining in again. Covering the retreat this time against there's been some slight hesitation. Once more.
Panther, ready to move.
No breakthrough tactics though. With a lighter push up north as well, folks going to be supported by the Stukas of Fus, but nothing else. And tanks basically covering the centre, partly sort of resist any assault there, but also so they can basically react to here or here wherever they need be. In part, I'm suspecting if he's going through here, I'm going to attack him from the rear then, for example. Instead, he actually makes a straight push towards the centre of the village. Hits the mine, goes straight into the field gun there. We go, T-34's tank striking. Stukas goes off, it does a bit of damage. Mine engaged down here, orbital dart and Panzer versus conscripts and combat engineers. T-34 trying to versus the Panzer, trying to get as close as possible, trying to negate as much as possible of the armour, trying to get behind as well, and there we go. At the same time, T-70 striking versus a lot of infantry up north here, causing heavy casualties there. Two Bravehearts, infantry, there we go. Panther down, Panzer for this officer getting massacred there by the T-70, getting veterans 1 in 21 kills. And then alone, Panzer for the retreats right past it. And dead.
We've lost a squad of infantry. Ready for action. Prepare yourself.
And the T-70 quickly sets about, finishing off the rest here.
Attention. Prepare for action.
Since it's with Veteran 2 is a lot more lethal versus infantry. T-70 joins in. And there you go, the orbital dart were utterly wiped out in the process.
An infantry unit lost.
And let's just stop here, no GG there. So anyways, game over there, game over, loss to Germany, a victory to the Soviet Union. Again, some very interesting tactics and strategies there from Braveheart. Very interesting, but again, to a certain extent, they had some slight issues there, which I were able to exploit there. I mean, there were some gaps, if you will, and he never really sort of tried to correct those gaps, and he was also a bit too slow to sort of adapting strategy, so ended up suffering rather heavy infantry losses. Then once the Panther came in, great, but at the same time, you know, there was something lacking. I mean, he really tried to sort of push in. He just kept sort of doing damage, sort of turn things around. But at the same time, I sort of, basically pulled back quickly if something ugly was about to happen. So that way, negating a lot of the damage you could do. But at the same time, you had that sort of line of field guns and Maxims, which rather than ensured he couldn't push in too far either. I mean, so there were some slight problems there with his force composition. Artillery or something else like that come much, much too late. So he really didn't have the sort of ability to push further through once the time came. But that time I also had more armor, and then came the mistake here basically, and that rather cost him, I think, essentially. And of course the T-70s also proved themselves to be quite a valuable tool here versus the Oberkommand West and the infantry heavy focus, in particular with the reserve army and the repairs, which can basically sort of quickly negate anything like that his Panzer Fusiliers might be able to do there. So again, interesting fight, but again, some slight flaws there in the strategy, and a bit too late, sort of lateness in adapting the strategy rather sort. But again, very interesting. I'd certainly recommend people who might intend to use breakthrough sort of look again at using breakthrough tactics, but also the officer and such. I mean, he really made great use of it. And again, he was very great at sort of, not just, using it like a bludgeon, but sort of attacking from all sides and causing a lot of economic damage. So, very much commendable there. Very nicely played there by Braveheart. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed, though, and I hope you learned something from this episode. I hope it gave you some ideas yourself for using the Oberkommand West, but also with the Soviets again. And a lot of players do tend to neglect the T-70, but it is a very potent little bastard of a tank. So, I mean, really do try to use it. So anyways, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you had some fun. If you did, feel free to subscribe, tell your friends, share with everyone. If not, send in a review and provide some feedback in the comments. This is ImperialDane. Cheers, and thank you all for watching. Bye.